Hi there, welcome to Two Birds. I'm Fiona and this is Ralph, and today's class is a 60-minute slow heat building Vinyasa flow class. It's an all-round flow with quite a few balances in there and a particular emphasis on building strength in the hips as well as the posterior chain of your body with some back body strengtheners. It moves at a really slow pace, so you can do it in the morning or in the evening, and it really challenges you to stay mindful and skillful as you make your way through your practice. I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for joining. Namaste. And begin your practice in Child's Pose, taking the knees wide to the edges of your mat, big toes to touch, and walk your hands forward, torso in between your thighs. Let the little fingers find the edges of your mat so your hands are a little wider than your shoulders. You can let your forehead rest heavy on the floor. And start by taking a few minutes to land on your mat, curling in and relaxing here. Feeling into each breath. Breathing in and out through the nostrils. And with every exhale, try and let go and sigh out anything you've been carrying with you, so you can step into your practice fully present and interested in your own participation. Feeling your breath touch the lower back, middle and upper back as you breathe. Feeling your belly soften, your body relax toward the floor as you breathe out. And start to calibrate your breath, breathing deeper than what you're normally accustomed to, really aerating your lungs and bringing your breath into balance. And setting an intention for your practice, welcoming it with your whole body and mind to apply a skill and mindfulness in your practice today. Cultivating an inquisitive, curious attitude, asking your body what makes sense today and moving in a way that nourishes what you need. And taking 3 more deep breaths. Breathing in, gliding up onto all fours, and set your hands underneath your shoulders, fingers spread. Position your knees underneath your hips and stretch back through all 10 toes, press down through your shins. We'll start by warming the wrists by gently rocking forward, bringing the shoulders a little forward of the wrists, and then rocking back, shoulders behind the wrists. So just a comfortable flexion in the wrists as you rock, and we'll stay with this rhythm, this motion, your breath, and continue to move. Come back to center, shoulders balanced over your wrists, and sway the hips out to your left, and then your hips out to the right side. Just leaning out into the side waist, the sides of your hips, and continue to press down through your shins and your feet. And then exaggerate that movement even more and start to circle the hips. Circle out to the side, over the buttocks, and then out to the opposite side. You might like to bend the elbows a little and include your neck and your head in the movement. And then circle back in the opposite direction. And Just notice that feeling opening up through the side seams of your body. Notice how you feel in the hips. And roll yourself back to center, keeping your hips right above your knees there. Walk your hands forward and make your way into Anahatanasana, heart opening pose. Taking that shape of downward dog in your upper body. And again, hands a little wider than your shoulders, fingers spread. Melt your heart and your chest toward the floor. Staying stabilized in the shoulders by drawing the shoulder blades wide apart and keeping a nice soft energy around the back of your neck and the back of your skull. So your head can hover here, or if it's accessible, touch the head down to the floor. Float the sit bones up a little higher toward the ceiling. Exaggerate the stretch down through the sides of your waist, through the reach of your arms. Taking one more deep breath in and out. Gazing forward on your in-breath and transitioning into Sphinx Pose, melting down onto your belly and keeping your elbows underneath your shoulders or slightly forward of your shoulders, forearms down. Just drop your head so you're looking down toward the floor. And feel into the legs, stretch all your toes back, engaging the leg muscles, and then really slowly start to pull your chest forward and through your arms. So the ribs come forward, the front of the shoulders move back. You can feel your upper back muscles lightly working, light press of the inner forearms. And then from here we're going to alternate between Sphinx Pose and a light abdominal curl. So we'll keep our knees down as you breathe out. Just start to drop your head and look back toward your belly as you raise and lift the belly, drawing the hip points toward one another so your abdominals are engaged. And then unfurl yourself, come back to Sphinx Pose, bringing the ribs forward. Let the heart lift. And then alternate between the two, moving nice and slow, calibrated with your breath. You might like to cultivate an Ujjayi breath if you haven't already. Starting to breathe with sound, breathing all the way down to the pit of your belly and listening to the tone and texture of your breath. And we'll do one more round in each direction. Melting all the way down onto the floor, so you're lying prone. Extend both arms out straight in front of you into Superman arms. Palms stay down, gaze stays down. Then pressing into your hands, raise your right leg up and stretch your toes back, leg engaged. Lower the right leg and raise the left leg. So try and keep the hip points nice and level on the floor as you raise the legs and alternate. And as you move between the two, try and find a cohesiveness in your action. So no one part of your back or legs feels abrupt, and no one part of your back or legs feels left out. So the base of your glutes are working, hamstrings, and then all three parts of your spine. So the back bend feels very evenly distributed. We'll take one more each side. And then slide the hands back by your ribs, keeping the elbows tucked in. We'll seesaw between Cobra and our head down. So just gaze down toward the mat, raise both legs, and then land your feet, your legs, and lift up into a light, low Cobra. So again, just alternating between the two and feeling for a well-balanced, well-distributed back bend as you come up into your low Cobra. Front of the shoulders lift back, ribs come forward, legs engage as you raise them. One more each way. And then release, bending at the knees, gliding up onto all fours, buttocks to the heels. And rest back in child's pose. Keep the arms reaching forward and finding that optimal distance between your hands and your feet in preparation for downward dog. Elbows are straight, forearms are lifted. And take 2 deep breaths into the low back, middle back and upper back. So full generous breath to release through the spine. And when you're ready, transitioning into downward dog, coming up onto all fours, tucking the toes and lifting your sit bones toward the ceiling. You might like to keep a little bend in the knees there, or even pedal out through your heels. Just warming up through the back seams of your legs, taking in all the feedback you can feel, the sensations. And keeping your arm bones really long there, pressing into all the knuckles of your fingers. So you take the heat out of your wrists and you're energetically drawing your chest toward your thighs. Full back body stretch here, and then just slow the movement down so you come to your peaceful downward dog. Your eyes can fall steady or closed. And return to your calm breath. Equal part inhale, equal part exhale. And take 3 more full breaths. At the end of your exhale, bend your knees deeply, look forward between the hands and walk yourself to the top edge of your mat. Set your feet up hip distance apart when you arrive and slightly angle your heels out. Deep bend in the knees and lay your torso over your thighs. Catch opposite elbows if it's comfortable for you, or dangle your arms. Let the crown of your head point down toward the floor. Fully relax through the back of your neck and skull. And then feel into all 4 corners of your feet. Take a gentle rock back and forth, find your even balance. And then press down through all 4 corners of your feet to raise the sit bones a little higher toward the ceiling, keeping your torso in touch with your thighs. And gently release your hands to the floor, hang in ragdoll, deeper bend in your knees. Low belly firm as you roll up through your spine. Stacking each vertebra one on top of the other, reach the arms up overhead and send your gaze up to the tip of your thumbs. As you exhale, hands to your heart center, finding neutral through your spine. Little mild arch through the low back, the back of the neck. Gently lifting the hip points up and extending your tailbone down toward your heels. And keeping your feet hip distance apart there. Make your way into chair pose, bending your knees, reaching your arms up alongside your ears, palms facing one another. Then drop your weight down into your heels, firm your belly. So if you feel like you're over-arched through your low back, gently draw the front of the hip points up and engage through the abs. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, float your arms back and your torso forward. We're here for an extra breath. Keep the weight in your heels and buttocks back. As you inhale, return to your chair pose, breathing in, reaching tall, lifting the heart. And as you breathe out, forward fold over your legs, and you're welcome to keep a little bend in your knees there. As you breathe in, hands slide to your shins, straighten the legs, flat back, and send the gaze forward. As you exhale, forward fold over your legs. And then we'll do that one more time, one movement, one breath. Chair pose as you breathe in, Uttanasana. Arms back, torso forward, breathing out. Push into your heels, back to chair pose as you breathe in. Exhale, forward fold over your legs, straighten the legs any amount. Inhale, extend your spine so you're long and straight through the sides of the waist. Exhale and forward fold over your legs. Drop your head. Return to chair pose. As you breathe in, hold here. Take the hands behind your back and interweave all your fingers. Staying upright, take a deep breath in. Lift your chest a little higher toward the ceiling. And as you breathe out, just follow your nose, fold forward over your legs. Let your arms float away from your back. Shoulder heads lift lightly up away from the floor so the neck feels like it grows a little longer. And then release the hands to your shins. Take a halfway lift as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, forward fold over your legs. We'll stay low here. Just take another halfway lift. Hands to the shins. Extend your spine. Look forward. As you breathe out, fingertips down. Lunge your right leg back. Right knee to the floor, keeping your right toes tucked. When you're ready and steady, reach your arms up alongside your ears. Find your low lunge. Left knee's balanced over your ankle. And you can feel a light stretch through the front of your right hip flexors. And see if you can soften your shoulders, perhaps widening the arms a little away from one another, turning the little fingers in. Light engagement through your right glutes. And from here, we'll just take a lateral side stretch. Take your left hand to your right wrist, and then tipping over any amount to your left. And it might be very subtle, could be more exaggerated. Just try and keep the chest and your belly button pointing out toward the front of your room. You're breathing into the right side waist, lifting the ribs, low ribs just a little further away from your right side hip. And coming back to center, reach the arms up overhead. And as you breathe out, sweep your arms back again, your torso forward, and raise your right leg, coming into a runner's lunge variation. Really try and stretch the crown of your head forward so the back of your neck feels long and tall. And then we'll move into a twist. Keep your right leg lifted, just sweep that right hand down into the right lane, top edge of the mat, left hand circles up toward the ceiling. And if it's more comfortable for your neck, you can keep the gaze down, or with the chin in, just roll your chin around the front of your chest and send the gaze up toward your left thumb. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, left hand circles down to the floor, frame your left foot and step quietly back, downward facing dog. We'll take a half flow, rippling forward to a high push-up, and just pause here. Make a little bit of space between the floor and your collarbones, pushing into the hands, strong in the shoulders, long through the body. And then just soften your knees to a hover, and then send the hips up and back, and return to downward facing dog. You can pause here, and we can meet you back here, or take a full flow, rippling forward to a high push-up. As you exhale, knees, chest and chin to the floor, low push-up. With the legs strong, hands on the floor, elbows tucked in, low baby cobra. And as you exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, and a full breath out. 2 more cycles of breath. At the end of your exhale, bend the knees, look forward, and then travel to the top edge of your mat, stepping the feet hip distance apart. When you arrive, slide the hands to the shins, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Back to our chair sequence, bend the knees, reach your arms up alongside your ears, and then torso forward, arms back as you breathe out. You can sigh it out of the mouth if it feels good. Back to chair pose, weight in your heels, firm belly, reach the arms. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, hands to the shins, extending the spine. Exhale and forward fold. Chair pose as you breathe in, Uttanasana, nice firm belly there. Arms back, torso forward as you breathe out. Return to chair as you breathe in, Deeper bend in the knees, reach the arms. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. Take a halfway lift, breathe in. As you exhale, fingertips down, left foot lunging back, left knee to the floor. Keeping the left toes tucked, reach the arms alongside your ears, lifting through the sides of your waist, and then letting the shoulders relax. Keep your gaze steady. Find your equilibrium. And then just staying curious. Noticing where you can feel sensation in your body, noticing if you could adjust to find a little bit more ease in your body. Improving the quality of your breath, breathing a little deeper, a little slower. And taking your right hand to your left wrist now, take your side bend to your right. Keeping the arms nice and straight there, chest and belly open, gently tip over. Right side waist might crinkle a little, see if you can get a little bit more length through the left side of your ribs and waist. With a firm belly, come back to center, arms reach up, torso upright, and then sweep your arms back, your torso forward and raise and reach the left leg. The left heel reaches back, crown of the head forward in a runner's lunge variation. And then just make your way into a twist. Left leg stays raised, left hand to the floor, right hand to the sky, revolving to your right. Finding the most comfortable position for your neck and your head. Chin lightly in, so the whole spine is tall and long and in a straight line. Take a deep breath in. And circling your right hand to the floor, step quietly back, downward facing dog for a half flow. Rippling forward to your high push-up, eyes forward, long and strong in the body, and then soften the knees, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Feel free to pause here, do less, we'll meet you back here, or if you're feeling energetic, float forward again, high push-up. Bringing your chest forward through your arms on the tippy toes, low push-up to the floor. Cobra Pose as you breathe in. Downward facing dog as you breathe out. Smoothing out the quality of your breath and taking 2 more full cycles of breath. At the end of your exhale, gaze forward between your hands, bend the knees, light hop or step to the top edge of your mat. Bring your toes to touch, take a halfway lift, breathe in. As you exhale, forward fold. Rise all the way to stand, straight legs, reach the arms. Rest your hands to your heart center. And then just move the feet a smidge apart, not quite hip width. All the toes point forward. And as you breathe in, come into your chair pose. Just pause there for a moment. Try and reduce any overarching through the low back, lifting the hip points up. And then we're just going to go through a balancing sequence. So once you get the hang of it, you might be able to exaggerate the movements a little bit more. So from chair, we float the arms down, balance into the left foot, raise the right knee, and slightly squeeze and engage the left glutes. And then return to your chair pose, nice and slow, both feet down, arms reach. And then alternate, arms float down, balance into your right foot, raise the left knee, light squeeze to the right glutes. And then alternate between the two in your own time. Might be able to stand a little taller, raise the knee a little higher as you find your balance. One more each side. Keeping that awareness in your abdominal core will help you balance and protect your low back. 2 feet down, back to chair pose as you breathe in. Exhale and forward fold over your legs. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, step back, plank pose, top of your push-up. Keep the gaze forward, abs engaged, legs engaged, low push-up. You can hover here and come into your upward facing dog if you're feeling warm, or return to your Cobra Pose if it's more suitable for your back. And then downward facing dog. Press evenly into all the knuckles of your fingers here. Keep the hands fully planted. Toes step together at the back of your mat. Raise the right leg up and back as you breathe in. Try and keep your hip points level there. You might need to drop your right hip down toward the floor. Deep breath in. As you exhale, core lunge in the air, really drawing the right knee in toward your nose, doming your spine. Hold here, pressing into the hands, and lower your right knee down to a hover right above the floor. As you inhale, lift the knee up toward your chest, and then lower to a hover. And we'll do that twice more. Lifting up, squeezing the belly, hollowing the belly, and then lowering the knee. Last one. And then gather the right knee in toward your chest. Return to your down dog splits with your hips as level as you can feel them. And as you exhale, runner's lunge. Right knee, right foot in between your hands. Pop up onto the fingertips. Keep the left leg super straight there, heel reaching back. Check your right knees right over the ankle. You're long and tall through the spine. And then staying on the fingertips, just very slowly lower your left knee down toward the floor. And then raise the left knee up. Reach back through your heel. Alternate between the two. Lovely deep stretch for the front of your left thigh there. Nice antidote if you sit a lot. Just stretching it out through the front of the body. Last two. And then keep the left leg raised. Walk your fingertips off the front edge of your mat and balancing on your fingertips, preparing for Warrior 3 prep. So you're going to balance into your right foot here and float the left leg up. So bringing the left leg up to the height of your hips, turning all the left toes down toward the floor, and exaggerate that a little bit more on the left pinky toe, and that'll bring your hips into alignment. So you can get a little longer through the spine, firmer in the core, gaze stays down. And then do your best to balance here. We're going to come all the way up and into tree pose. So light bend in your right knee. Gather the left knee in toward your chest. And then come all the way up. Reset if you need to along the way. If you can, point the left knee forward, balanced on your right foot. And then turn the left knee out to the side to place your left foot on the inner seam of your right leg. And that could be above your knee or below your knee, or tap your left toe to the floor. Hands to the heart center. Once you've found your balance, check in with your whole body. Notice if you can relax any parts of your body where you might be gripping or tensing. Shoulders can melt. Chest can lift toward your thumbs. All four corners of your right foot anchored. Gaze is steady. If you're feeling balanced, raise your arms up alongside your ears toward the ceiling. And transitioning now into Warrior 3, and you might like to come back to that preparatory pose with the fingertips on the floor, or keep the arms in line with your ears, sweep the left leg back, turning your left toes toward the floor. Not here for long. Stretch out long through your body, bringing it parallel with the floor, light bend in the right knee to hold you steady. Returning to chair pose, left foot steps forward, bend the knees, reach the arms, and will flow as you exhale, forward fold over your legs. Resetting, halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, step back, plank pose, top of your push-up. Keep the gaze forward there, neck nice and long, low push-up as you breathe out. Upward dog or cobra, back bend of your choice, the one that suits your body. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take 3 full cycles of breath, lengthening your arm bones and stretching the heels down toward the floor, engaging the front of your thighs, feeling that full back body stretch. Deep breath in, gazing forward. End of your exhale, step or lightly hop forward, come to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and forward fold, Uttanasana. Rise all the way to stand as you breathe in. Hands to your heart center, exhaling. Walk the feet just slightly apart for balance there. And come into your chair pose as you bend the knees and reach your arms, firm belly. And we'll alternate in our balance. Float the arms down, balance into your left foot, raise the right knee. Straightening out through the left leg. And then back to chair pose, both knees bend, arms reach. Balance on your right foot, arms float down, left knee lifts. And left foot down, back to chair. Go one more each side. Engaging your back body as the arms float down and you balance. Return to chair pose as you breathe in. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. Take a halfway lift, flat back, straight legs, look forward, stretch out. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back, high push up. You can take a half flow here or take a full flow, lowering, making your way into your back bend and downward facing dog. Stepping your toes together at the back edge of the mat, raise your left leg up and back. And dropping the left hip a little down toward the floor to level out through your hips. Keep kicking out through your left heel. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, core lunge in the air. Squeeze in, push into the hands, and then lower your left knee to a hover. And then lift back up in toward your chest and hollow the belly. And then alternate between the two. Working your upper body and your core here. Last one. As you feel yourself with your left knee come back in toward your chest, return to your down dog splits, left leg up and back. And as you exhale, lightly, quietly step forward, runner's lunge. Left foot up in between your hands, pop up onto the fingertips and power up your right leg so your heel reaches it back in space. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower and tap the right knee down to the floor. And then really slowly lift up so you can feel that work in the front of your right thigh. Lifting and lowering with your breath. Feel your hip points level and your abdominals engaged. Transitioning now into Warrior 3 prep. Walk your fingertips off the front edge of your mat. You're balancing into your left foot, so just making sure you feel spread and even as you raise the right leg up toward the ceiling. And keeping that awareness and balance in your hips. Right toes point down. And then reach your heart forward so you get a little longer through the sides of the waist and through the torso. And then preparing to balance even more, hands free. Balancing on your left foot, bring the right knee in toward your chest and make your way all the way up to stand. You'll feel that in the left side buttocks muscles. Reset if you need to. No need to rush. Coming into Vriksasana, tree pose. Place your right foot on the inner seam of your left leg. And it does help here just to sandwich the standing leg into the sole of your foot. So you're kind of hugging to the midline of your body. And also just see yourself balancing right in the center of your left foot, the center of your balance. Find a steady gaze. Relax your breath. And if you're feeling steady, reach your arms up alongside your ears, challenging your balance. And then with a light bend in your left knee, release your right leg back behind you for Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Conscious of your hip points staying level, right heel reaches back, fingers reach forward, and you're tall and long through the back of your neck. Not here for long, just keep breathing. Releasing by stepping forward into chair pose, bring the toes to touch, bend the knees, reach the arms as you breathe in, and we'll flow forward fold over your legs, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, either a half flow or a full flow, just whatever your body's calling for right now. We'll take rest in Child's Pose. Upward Dog or Cobra. And Downward Facing Dog. And if you've got a sigh, just let it out of your mouth. Try and reset here in your Downward Dog. Let your eyes find their steady gaze point. And take a full breath in, gaze forward between your hands. At the end of your exhale, bend the knees and lightly step or hop forward to the top edge of your mat. Bring your toes to touch. When you arrive, take a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. Rise all the way to stand as you breathe in. And press your hands to your heart center as you breathe out. And here we'll keep our big toes touching, another chair variation. Drop your weight back into your heels, reach your arms, bend the knees, Uttanasana. And then just press your palms and take your hands to your heart center. We're going to lower the center of gravity here. So your chest stays really open here. Fan out across your collarbones. Firm the belly. And then balancing on your left foot, get a little lighter on your right toes, and then tap the right toes out to the side, and then tap them back in. And then just stay with that. Tapping out and in. And try and hug the left hip in toward the midline of your body so the left hip isn't poking out to the side. Stay firm in the belly. So I'm going to keep adding on, but you can always come back to these movements that we do at the start if you need to slow it down or do less. From here, we're going to start to tap back with our right toes and then back to chair. So just staying quite low in the hips there. And you'll feel that work in your glute muscles. Try and stay easy, open, receptive across the chest. Now you can stay with this, tapping out, tapping behind, or you can challenge your balance here. So staying on the left foot, just raise the right knee forward, pointing it forward, and then really slowly keep bending the knees and tap the right toes out to the left behind you. And then come back to that balance, right knee points forward, and then Shiva squat. So bend both knees, right toes tap behind you. So if it's not working for you, go back out to the tap, side tap, back tap. Or we'll do one more here. Very challenging for your balance, I know. And then come back to your chair pose. Reach the arms up alongside your ears and then float the arms down at shoulder height. So we're just going to stretch out here through a hip groin stretch. You can use your hands to position your foot. We're going to take the left ankle across the top of the right thigh, flexing at the left toes and sitting down into the right heel with your buttocks back. So you can access a stretch through the outer left hip. And then hands to your heart center, shoulder blades in toward the midline of your back to encourage your chest to open. Just enjoy the stretch. The lower you go, the deeper that stretch will be. Try and avoid any pressure or pain in your knee here. And then we're going to push down into our right foot to lift up straight, and then cross your left leg over the top of your right leg and put both feet on the floor, cross-legged at the top of your mat. Pinky toes line up, reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, press your palms, take them through the heart center, and just take an easy forward fold here. You can catch opposite elbows. Please just drop your head so you feel really relaxed in your upper body. Your knees can be a little bit bent here. You'll get a nice outer hip stretch. And then releasing your hands to your hips, push down through your feet and try and come up with a nice flat back all the way back up. And then unravel and step the left foot all the way back behind you to set up for pyramid pose. So feet are spread about 3 foot apart, so not a really long stride. And then with your hands on your hips, turn your left hip forward. So you level out and balance out across the sacrum, front and back of the pelvis. Keeping the hands on the hips, take a deep breath in, lift your heart, your chest. As you exhale, forward fold out over the midline of your right leg. So your belly button turns a little to the right. And then you draw the crown of your head forward. Naturally, the chin will lightly come in toward your chest. Hands can rest down on your leg or the floor, depending on your flexibility. And then push down through your right big toe, inner heel. Lift the right kneecap and engage your right quads. Then feel your back leg engage strongly. And just settle your breath. And then returning your hands to your hips, just really slowly with a flat back coming all the way back up. And just steady yourself here and stepping forward to the top edge of your mat. Just give your legs a little shake out. We'll set up for the opposite side. Walking the toes together, big toes to touch. And come into your chair pose, bend the knees and reach your arms. Just try and avoid that big ducktail in your low back by drawing the front of the hips up, low belly engaged, hands to your heart center now. So we're going to balance on our right foot now, and the left toes are going to tap out to the side. So make sure the right knee is quite bent there. You'll get that work in the quad muscles as well as your right glute muscles, and then just tap out and in. Trying to stay fairly steady in your upper body. Gaze is steady, abs engaged underneath your fingertips. Or if you have your hands to your heart, just feel for a light abdominal engagement. It'll help with your balance. And then just shift the left toe tap out to behind you. Tap behind and then tap forward. Maybe sinking a little lower into the right hip, keeping the chest lifted. And you should be able to feel that warmth gather in the right hip. And the final move is optional, challenging your balance. Left knee lifts, then both knees bend, left foot points out behind you and over to the right side as you squat down. Then try and come back to your balance. This transition's always a little bit hard. And then Shiva squat. So just stay with that sequence just a few more, and then we stretch out the nice release through our outer right hip. Beautiful. Stepping back to your chair pose and put enough of a bend in your left knee Use your hands if you need to. Take your right ankle across the top of your left thigh. Flex at your right toes and make sure to avoid any pressure in your knee joint. So if it feels uncomfortable, just take an easy forward fold here. And then sit down so you can get enough of a stretch there into the outer right hip to balance out after the work we've done in the hips. Hands in any comfortable position. And then point the right knee forward, straighten the left leg and cross the right leg over the front of the left leg. 2 feet down, little toes line up. Deep breath in and just really slowly come into a forward fold over the legs, bending your legs, your knees, any amount there to make it comfortable for you, and a nice release. And then taking your hands to your hips, keeping the feet grounded, push down through your feet so you can rise all the way back up. Bring the torso upright, unravel the right leg and step the right leg behind you to transition into pyramid pose. So you might like to walk the left foot out into the left lane a little and turn your right toes in a little. So you get that feeling you can level out through your hips. Your right hip's not behind the left hip. Take a deep breath in, lift and open your chest, and then try and keep that long, unwrinkled feeling as you fold forward. Left hip lightly, subtly drawing back as you fold. Left ribs traveling out to the left side so your belly button positions over the midline of your left leg. And then just check in with the whole spine, tailbone to the back of your neck, unwrinkling, and push down through your left big toe, inner heel. Feel your legs engaged. And let your breath slow and relax. And then releasing your hands to the floor, frame your left foot and pushing into the hands, step quietly back, downward facing dog. So if you'd like to take a final flow here, feel free. You can take a half flow or a full flow, chaturanga, to a back bend of your choice. And we'll all meet up in downward facing dog. You might like to pedal out through your heels, shake out your hair just as you did at the start of the class, and really tune in and check in. Notice how you feel in your body now. And then breathe deeply into the whole back body. Give yourself a really long, deep stretch. And then soften your knees to the floor and your buttocks to your heels and find child's pose. Any comfortable position with your arms. Hands can be back by your feet, forearms down or arms extended. Just feeling your breath slow down as you approach the end of your practice. And then just slowly rising up, bringing your feet around in front of you and making your way to the middle of your mat. And then find your sit bones, walk your feet out to the side edges of your mat, away from one another with a bend at the knees. And we'll just windshield wiper the legs, so taking the knees over to the left and the knees up and over to your right. And do that a few more times. Feel free to linger, pause on one side, or just keep that motion, that rhythm going side to side. And then making your way back to center, toe heel your feet together and extend your right leg out straight so your left knee stays bent. And step your left foot to the outside of your right leg. And we'll take a gentle twist. So we're going to twist in an open orientation, taking your right hand behind you. Left hand reaches up for the ceiling. And then take your left elbow to the inside of your left knee. So that twist feels open and spacious. You can breathe a nice deep breath, and there's no over effort. Sides of the waist stay lifting, low back stays tall. And then turn and face the front of the room, and then take the left sole of your foot and point it back behind you. So the left knee folds over your right straight leg. And just lift the buttocks a little, squeeze the legs together, flex at your right toes, and then reach the arms up for the ceiling, and bend your right elbow and swim the right hand down in between your shoulder blades. Left hand can catch the top of your right elbow there. You might like to stay upright with your head upright, or you might be able to fold forward just a little, exaggerating that stretch through your outer left hip. Just check in with your breath, make sure it's sustainable, comfortable. And then rising all the way up on your in-breath, unraveling the legs, both legs straight now. And then pick up your right foot and take the right foot to the outside of your left leg. Taking an open twist, the left hand behind you, right hand up toward the ceiling. Try and find that length through your spine without leaning back. And then right elbow inside of your right knee. Start to revolve to your left. So a nice slow revolve incrementally with your breath. Drawing your left collarbone back. Gaze falls out lightly over the left shoulder. And taking one more deep breath in. And exhale, turning the gaze forward now. Take your right foot and turn the sole of your right foot so it faces the back edge of your mat, folding the legs together in half cow. You might need to shuffle around, wriggle around to make that feel comfortable for you. Flex at the left toes, left leg stays engaged, arms rise, breathe in. And bending your left elbow now. Taking your hand down in between the shoulder blades, spreading at the fingers and the palm of your hand. Right hand catches the top of your left elbow. And just try not to let your head nod too far forward here. Stay really upright. You should be able to feel your low back muscles engage and support you there. And staying as open as you can. If you'd like, you can fold forward here just a little, or maybe a lot. Just trying to maintain that optimal posture through the front of the chest as you fold. And coming all the way back up on your in-breath. And unraveling your legs. We'll make our way into Konasana, taking the soles of your feet together, knees out wide. And try and make a loose diamond between your heels and your pelvis there. So there's no need to force the knees toward the floor. Just find that comfortable kind of butterfly shape in the legs. upright through the spine, and with your hands on your ankles or around your toes, just a light flutter to the knees. And then breathe in, lift taller through your spine. And as you breathe out, get that sense that you're drawing your chest forward, your belly button toward your toes. Folding forward. Extending your inner thighs toward your knees. And then coming all the way up on your in-breath. Hands to the outer thighs and draw the knees in toward each other. Extend both legs out straight in front of you. Feet could be about hip width apart there if you're tighter through the back of the body, or bring the big toes to touch. Reach the arms up alongside your ears. Pashimottanasana. Forward fold over the legs. Land your hands in any comfortable position. There's no need to find your toes if they're a long way off. Hands could easily be on either side of your legs, your shins. Try and prioritize that unwrinkled feeling through the front of your chest. If you're rounding here, you're more than likely pulling on the low back. So try and draw the shoulder heads up away from the mat. Your shoulder blades in toward your spine. Chin lightly in toward your chest. Give yourself a big sigh out. Relax into the pose, no over effort. Directing yourself toward rest. And then just slowly rising up when you're ready. And giving yourself the next few minutes to relax. You might choose to lay back in Shavasana onto your back, palms face up. Let your legs fall out a little wider than your hips. Or you might like to sit upright in seated meditation to close your practice. And take this time to really tune into how you're feeling at the end of your practice, getting familiar with the feeling of relaxation in your body. The clarity and mental calm you might feel, the physical release. Just connecting, and at the same time really releasing, letting go, letting your weight empty into the support beneath you. And sometimes the most challenging posture is Shavasana or meditation, because it requires your unwavering attention. And sometimes it's really hard to do that because your mind wanders and your body wriggles. Let's see if you can just cultivate a real stillness in your body, an observing attitude. And as your mind becomes still, your body naturally relaxes. If you have a little bit more time, feel free to linger here. If you're ready to move, just gently start to wriggle out. Breathe a deeper breath. And just taking the next few moments to make your way comfortably back into a seated cross-legged position. I hope you've enjoyed practice today. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste.